What laws should SMEs know about?
It's very important for entrepreneurs to generally know the legal framework just so they can know how law affects the operation of their business. Entrepreneurs should definitely know whatever company's laws govern companies within a country. They should be aware of intellectual property laws as well, just so they know what protections they have. They should also know if there are any competition laws and whatever restrictions might affect their businesses generally. So those three, I would say, are quite important for small and medium-sized enterprises to know. If there are any restrictions on businesses moving to any other countries or restrictions on taking money out of a country, businesses should also be aware of those.
What is your comment on the legal framework in African countries?
A country like Kenya is fairly easy, but some of the feedback I'm getting from my clients is corruption is an issue, and sometimes it takes long to go through bureaucratic processes. And so that's an area that Kenya might want to look at. There are countries like Rwanda, which are also in the East African community, where it's very quick to register a business and much easier, but because it's a smaller economy, a lot of businesses are sometimes hesitant to do business there because the market isn't as big. So there are advantages to the Kenyan market that are not necessarily there elsewhere. But I think moving forward, it's important to look at the East African community and look at it as a regional bloc of 5 countries with over 120 million, and also look at the legislative framework of the 5 countries and see that it will be easier to do business in East Africa as a whole.
What should be done to promote business in Africa?
I think some of the complaints that are coming up right now is our countries giving away too much of their sovereignty by integrating. And I don't think that is the case yet. I think that if we start slowly, and right now in East Africa, we have the customs union. I think that's a good start to say business, there should be free movement of services and people and business. So we can promote, a better, economic advantage for this region. And I think the question of political federation should come later. But right now, let's sort out the customs union. Let's decide if we do need a monetary union. The shilling in Kenya has been doing bad recently, and the shilling in Uganda has been doing bad recently. So that's something for policymakers to ask is, if we are looking to integrate everything, how fast should we do it? And what are some of the barriers? And I definitely think for a monetary union, inflation needs to be looked at very, very closely.
Since legal expertise is expensive for SMEs, what alternatives can they look for?
And I find oftentimes SMEs tend to avoid trying to get legal services because of the cost, and I think that that's very unfortunate. I think the first step is, if a company does not have enough money in the initial instance, I think that it's important to know generally what they might need. So if you need a contract, you can find contracts online. You can try and draft what you think will work for you, but before signing it, you can take it to a lawyer, and that way a lawyer won't have that much work to do because you would have done a bulk of the work, and all the lawyer will be doing is reviewing what you've already done. So I think that's one way to save on legal costs. Another way is to see if there are any free legal clinics. A lot of times universities tend to have free legal clinics where small businesses can go in and get legal advice for a limited amount of time. So I think it's important to touch base with different universities. Another thing that a lot of entrepreneurs don't tend to do is go to law firms and ask for pro bono legal services. A lot of the bigger law firms do have a budget for pro bono legal services. So I think that it's important to go to the big firms and ask if they do have a budget. And if they do have a budget, then go through the necessary steps to apply for either reduced cost representation or free representation.